Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Then they better put my money in my hand.
Welcome back. I'm excited to tell you that today's guest on Off the Mat with the Crusher is none other than Matt Serra. I'm really pleased with the conversation I was able to have with Matt, because not only does he have interesting things to say about where he came from in terms of his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu lineage and his thoughts on the sport today, his time in the Ultimate Fighter House, and some of his greatest victories and toughest opponents on the mat, but he's a really funny and interesting guy. This interview is going to be split into two parts, so check out part one, and I'll see you at the end of it. All right, here with Matt Serra.
Am I looking at you or am I looking at this?
Nah, you can look at this or you can look at me, either one. So Matt, you know, a lot of people in our community may or may not know that you first came into prominence.
Don't let me cut you off.
Yeah.
You see this cut?
Yeah.
Not the scar I got from my buddy Chris Leiter. You see this little cut?
Yeah, I see that cut.
I was at the Holiday Inn last night. I had to take a leak. This is good stuff. This is more important than anything
we're
talking about. I get up in the middle of the night. I go to take a leak. I go back. I walk into the damn wall. Look at this thing. You see the cut?
Yeah.
That fresh cut. I went back to sleep, blood dripping in my eye. I walked into a wall. But that's my story. Go ahead, keep going.
So you first came up the Renzo Gracie Academy.
Yes.
You know, one of that first pool of great American grapplers. Tell me what that was like. Like you, John Danaher, guys like Jamie Cruz, all big names now. What was that like back then?
That was amazing, man. We were here. I was with Craig Kukak, who was Renzo's American partner at the time. Mm-hmm. He came over a couple of years prior to Renzo arriving. And so we were training in the city, and class was available 1 day a week, and then eventually 2 days a week, and then eventually Renzo came over 2 years later, and things just, it was this amazing time, man. It was jiu-jitsu wasn't on every corner.
Right.
Like I lived in Long Island. I used to jump on the Long Island Railroad 5 days a week. I was working, and that's like a 50-minute train ride or whatever it is, into the city. And, you know, just to learn jiu-jitsu. I used to take private lessons in Red Bank, New Jersey, which is over a couple hours where I live. Just get an hour private lesson just for the knowledge of, just to learn this amazing art, you know. But coming up into Renzo at that time was just an amazing thing. You know, Renzo was there every night teaching. You know, not that he's not now, but coming up at that time was just an amazing thing. Just very close-knit family, you know. And all these guys I came up with, Danaher, Jamie Cruz, Paul Creighton, they're still very close friends, my closest friends to this day.
So, you know, it's funny because today you just jump on YouTube, you can see anybody grapple. But back then, it was the stuff of legends. So you used to hear names like Matt Serra, like names you mentioned, Jamie Cruz, Paul. So what was it like being on the mat? You know, like rolling and with those guys. Who was the toughest on the mat back then?
Man, you know, listen, it was a brotherhood. It was things are different coming up, man.
Yeah.
You know, now I've been a black belt since 2000, so over a decade now. You know, back then everything's a little more competitive, even though you're friends. I remember, man. I mean, that's partly how you get to where you know. To reach a certain level, you have to have that competitiveness. It's like I remember if somebody passed my guard in front of Renzo, that was the longest train ride home after that. Like I didn't want to talk to anybody until I got back on the mat. And
was Renzo always watching you guys?
Renzo was always, you know, friendly and just a great person. That's why eventually when him and Craig Kukak split up, even though I'm a very loyal person, I was with Craig first. Craig never allowed him. He never got close to anybody. He was always a little wall there, and Renzo was like family. So I made the right decision. I went with Renzo. Me and my brothers. But you know what's amazing about me? My ADD. What the hell was I talking about? But the funny thing back then is Renzo used to like demand a lot from me because I believe he saw potential. I mean, I remember I was being a purple belt. I was a purple belt, and one day Renzo comes in and he goes, "Man, you're training like shit. What is the problem?" And I go, "Man, I'm just tired, man. I was working midnight to 8 in the morning, just so I could get to the city to sleep a little bit during the day and then get on that train with Renzo in Manhattan, get back on that train, then go to my guard booth with the clip-on tie and whatever. I was 20 years old or whatever, but it was just to live. I didn't know I was going to make I wanted to make it my life, but I just loved the train. I was in love with it, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. So, then, he took me under his wing. He goes, listen, quit that job. Work here. You know, shoot, I was cleaning the bathrooms, and then I started teaching the classes for him in the afternoon, doing private lessons, and then he's taking me to Japan to help him corner. Renzo took me under his wing, man. That's why to this day, no matter how high up I go, whatever I achieve, Renzo's always my instructor, my master, my friend.
That's awesome.
And I owe everything to Renzo.
It's funny because back then, you, John, and those guys were coming up on the East Coast. And back then, guys like Mark Lehman were coming up on the West Coast. And when you were in the Ultimate Fighter 4, you had that, confrontation with Mark Lehman or whatever you want to call it. Talk to me about that. Walk me through that. Because I know stuff gets edited and cut on television. What was that?
That was, I don't want to, start anything up again. We're not friends. We're not enemies. I'm sure he doesn't think much think about me often. I don't think about him often. It's, I don't wish him any ill will or anything. That was, you're pent up in a house for 6 weeks, and somebody could rub you the wrong way or say things that you might not like. And I speak my mind, and it was what it was. It wasn't much editing there. I don't believe it's from what I remember, but that is what it is. I don't want to attack the guy or anything. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's doing well, and I see Johnny Hendricks doing really well in the UFC, and I see him in his corner, and I don't sit there and go, damn him, I'm happy for him, I hope he does well, and, I just think, negative energy, negative comments, and it's just the waste.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the negative stuff, but, Lehman was a top American grappler.
Well, Lehman's a very, very, very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. So,
did you guys ever roll or anything?
About each other, we rolled once, and it was from the turtle position, and he took my back, and I escaped, and I took his back, and he escaped. And I think that was on, maybe that might have been on they might have showed us rolling once, but that was it. You know what I mean? But that was all we rolled, so, but, again, he's a good practitioner, and whatever we think about each other personally is whatever.
Yeah, I just want to see you guys grapple.
Troublemaker.
Yeah, I just want to see you guys grapple. I just want to know.
Yeah, so did Matt Hughes.
Speaking of Matt Hughes, that rivalry garnered a lot of attention. The Mats. How was that left? How was that with you now?
I thought after the fight, I didn't say a word about him after the fight because we fought. Close fight. There's worse decisions out there. I thought I got it. He got it. He got the nod. So it is what it is. And we hugged afterwards, and he was pleasant in the cage. A lot of times after you fight and you have it out like that, you could bury something.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward to me the Matt Hughes bio or something with that. I don't know, Ultimate Matt Hughes or something like that. Right. So they came, they filmed me, and they're asking me questions. I go, he's been pleasant, right? They go, no, he's great. Then I watched the show, and I didn't say anything bad about the guy.
Right.
I watched the show, and he goes, Matt Serra, he's really loud because he likes people to talk up. He likes to be he's really loud when he walks in the room because he likes people to know that he's that he's there and this. And I go, dude, why do you got to do that? So now we're not cool again. So it's a little upsetting that he got really stopped in his last how many fights, and now he's not fighting anymore because to end my UFC career, I would like at least one more with him, and I know it's illegal in New York, and I would have loved that. That would have got me excited, and I don't think I think he's officially done.
Yeah.
So that's a little upsetting. So I would have liked to get him again. But hey, listen, nice. I got to throw him, got to punch him. That's not the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of, you talked a little bit earlier about going to Japan, and I know that you came really close to fighting in Pride.
Oh, yeah, you know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was originally supposed to fight in Pride. This is funny the way things work out. I was supposed to fight in Pride. I don't remember the Pride versus Joe. I'm gonna kill his name. He was a lucha libre guy.
Yeah, Joe Oliveira.
What is it?
Joe Hill
Oliveira or something.
Yeah.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be a Pride guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my first fight. I was very excited.
Yeah.
I was about to walk out, and the nice Japanese lady goes. Her English wasn't the best, but I guess her Portuguese was worse. I'll tell you in a second. So she goes, don't walk past the X on the thing because the fireworks, you know, pyrotechnics.
Right.
So I guess there was a language problem because I'm waiting, and the Joe Hill, he I saw it on tape afterwards. He got lit up like a Christmas tree, man. Like his body, he just got burnt. He walked in, the pyros came up, and next thing you know, I'm waiting, and all of a sudden Mark Kerr comes over. And it's funny with Mark Kerr at the time because he was a huge guy, but he had like a soft voice. He goes, and like he comes over to Renzo, like Renzo's some kind of like paramedic. Renzo, you have to come quick. Oh, he got lit up and he's on fire. And so Renzo runs and throws water on the guy and whatever. The fight was off, but I was in really such good shape that I'm like, what am I gonna do now? I go, you know what? I go, there's the Abu Dhabi qualifiers in Indiana, and it was an 8-man tournament. I go, let me get in that, and if I win that, I could get over to Abu Dhabi, and that would be really good because I was just living on the mat at that time, so my jiu-jitsu was never crisper, you know, and it was a good opportunity, and so I was in shape anyway. So I ended up doing that. I won that. I submitted all 3 guys, and I went to Abu Dhabi, and I had a very good showing over there. You had a
great showing. I remember you beat Jean-Jacques Machado, who was the Marcelo Garcia before Marcelo Garcia at the Abu Dhabi.
The old school guys know that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was in awe, and I was to me that was the equivalent of my GSP fight for. You know, it might not be as well known because of people who don't follow it as you do and the BJJ community, but Jean-Jacques is a living legend, so it was just an honor to be on the mat with him. You know, it was so funny. I had a Japanese guy first, right? And I'm like, you know what? Let me leave my rash guard on to warm up with this guy because I figured I'll just kill him. But it ended up being Gomi. So I'm like, I didn't know that till afterwards. Like, that guy's a tough guy. I ended up choking him, and then I had Jean-Jacques, which was just amazing, and then Leo Santos, which I ended up getting, who was another phenomenal grappler. I had my moment over there, and that was great. That was a really, really great experience. And I know they still have Abu Dhabi, and it's really a nice run over this event. But there was nothing like being in the Middle East and all the sheiks and whatever were up and they're on couches and you hear the music playing. It was just a wild experience, man. I felt like it was like Han's tournament or something. It was wild, man.
I hope you enjoyed part 1 of that video as much as I enjoyed sitting down and having a conversation with Matt Serra. Check out my page on Facebook and like it so that you can be in the loop and hear part 2 and more of what Matt Serra has to say. I'll see you soon on Off the Mat with the Crusher.
Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Then they better put my money in my hand, Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Then they better put my